Hello, hello. It's Davison with her sick eyes. I am live. Just is that too loud? Because I have the gain up. Blah, la 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 la. That was a bad scale. La 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 la. That was better. Okay. I'm just making sure I'm not blasting your ears, and I really have to not slam the table. When I emphasize my points, I really love to hit my desk, which makes banging noises. You can tell I still look very sick because I am, and I've had quite a few brain seizures this morning, wherein I can feel my consciousness not be normal. There you go. But in terms of like shaking seizures, I think I've only had two. And what I've noticed is that whenever I get confused, I feel a whoosh in my head, and then I get confused. Something happens, either like something like this, or I get a seizure, or I talk funny. And then once the clear fluid, the CSF drips from my nose, which is my brain fluid, I go back to normal. So it's a little bit disconcerting. But I'm bringing that up with my neurologist because, as he said, even though it's clear that I have a movement disorder, it's clear that my brain is scrambled, it's clear there's no major structural damages to my brain that they can see on CT scan, it's still alarming that I'm dripping CSF and that I'm still getting these episodes. So they have to track it. So I messaged him. Hi to John, hi to David. I hope I'm not boring anyone. I know someone left. I know, again, another thing too is that I still look rough. Like my eyes don't look right. You guys know me, right? You've followed me. Hit the like button if you're here. You followed me for years, and I can tell just looking at my face. Can you guys tell that it's not right? My eyes aren't right. The leak is relieving brain pressure. And when you get pressure on your brain, you say weird words. And by the way, we discovered this morning that, see this little pink thing up there? I'm waiting for you guys right there. That's a glitter pug. Ouch. Whenever I talk about it, it triggers my brain and it hurts my head. When Max gave it a name instead of, ouch, my brain hurts. And I'm getting a stabbing headache again. Max gave it the name of Gug. Ouch. And whenever he says Gug, ouch, it actually hurts my head. And when I babble, as you guys know, I do a lot of G's. So this little guy, we don't like him anymore because his name makes my head hurt, which I think is pretty funny. I lost someone. Not again. As I shouldn't even pay attention to the numbers. I feel like I'm not entertaining people enough or something if they leave, which is silly. I should just calm down. Okay, so stop being self-conscious, Davidson. Focus on the task at hand. So we're here to hang out. There's not that many people here right now. Feel free to ask me anything. In this broadcast, I will go in and out of having involuntary movements I can't control, speech that I can't control, many non-epileptic seizures in my brain. And then clear fluid will drip from my nose to relieve the pressure on my brain, and then I'll go back to normal. But this is therapy for me because part of retraining my brain, even though obviously there's still something going on with the pressure not being quite right, is to just do repetitive normal things. And hanging out with you guys, which I couldn't do for months when my brain was shut down, is really important for me. And also, what am I going to do? I'm going to lay in bed all day staring at this guy, staring at Glitter Pug and being like, why are you torturing? Ouch, when I just said his name. Why are you torturing me? Don't look at me anymore. I'm not going to throw him out though, because it's pretty funny that saying G's hurts my brain. What a trip this has been, guys. It is a trigger. That's what I said. Stop triggering. And there's G's and trigger. I'm like, stop triggering me. Max is like, I want to try it again. So he kept saying Gug. And I was like, ah. And he's like, Gug. I'm like, stop. And he laughed at me, which is funny. By the way, to the person who thinks that Max is traumatized by this, in a way he is, because his mother is very, very sick. But when it sounds like he's disagreeing with me, he's just trying to take care of me. I'm not hurting him. He believes me. Remember, he's still young. He'll be 20 in soon, in a couple months. But he's still young, and I'm still his mom. So if he's like, uncomfortable. That's part of his personality. He's not like me, wherein I'm really open and I like to share things with everyone. Sometimes he's private, but it's not really that. I'm not violating that in him. He just sometimes takes things too personally, or I'm his mom, so naturally I get in his nerves, or he's trying to take care of me. Like this morning when we were out for the walk, he was just worried about me because I had a seizure and had to sit down. We were trying to, as therapy, go for a walk. Ouch, my head hurts. Oh, my nose is dripping. It feels so much better when my brain relieves the pressure by dripping cerebral spinal fluid from my nose. It's so awful what I'm going through. Oh God. You can even hear it. It's in there. Yeah, Max is just worried about me, but I'm trying to document this too, because what YouTuber has a brain condition like I do? I don't think there is one. I also have plenty to say, as I said before, about the fucking, ouch, choose your words carefully, Davison, the fucking psychiatric or mental health care system in Quebec, and I have people to protect. And I mean, I could actually read an anecdote from a girl who was my roommate when I was in one of the hospitals, that about the psychiatrist that we both shared, and it's pretty traumatizing, and it's kind of, it resembles a lot of what I went through, which I eventually in due time will disclose to you guys, all the horrible things that I went through. I went through some good stuff, but I went through some pretty terrible. I hate when my tongue does that. Of all the things that my brain decides to do, that's the most obnoxious. It's embarrassing. Hold on. It's called dystonia, by the way. Okay, we're fighting it. No. I have no control over it whatsoever. And look again. Look at how sick my eyes look. You can see it. I can see it. Can you guys see it? I'm not, my brain isn't better yet. I mean, my nose wouldn't be dripping CSF if my brain was better. So I'm so cute. Well, thank you, Dreaming Cruise. I don't feel like I'm cute. I feel like I'm a bit of a freak. I was a freak before, but now I'm a certified medical freak. I'm a freak and a freak. I'm a freaky freak. It sounds like this is the beginning of a song. Freak on Patreon, medical freak, eccentric YouTuber, freaky freak, freaky freak, perhaps. So John said, oh God, John said more like the blame is put it on and instead of actually causing it. Okay, I'm trying in. Fuck. Yeah, but more like the blame is put on it instead of actually causing it. I went through that in 0 when came down with the flu. What are you talking about? I sound like I'm drunk and I'm not. It's just a seizure. It's just a seizure in my brain. And then again, I wish they had a 24-hour EEG on me. For some reason, nobody has information on that, and they should. Because I know this is hard to watch. It's hard for me to go through. Okay, so I'm going to read to you then. Fuck. Sorry, just a minute. I have to lay down because Okay. So just had my exorcism. Ow. See, I slept 8 hours last night, but I am still having really bad brain seizures today. And it's really hard on me. Because it isn't this. I'm going through it really bad again. I'm going through it really bad right now. Oh, now I got the neck dystonia. We stand neck dystonia. Oh. Hit the like button. What happened? Oh, my computer froze for a second. That's weird. Okay. So I'm trying to read the anecdote of a girl I met who's my roommate when I was in the psychiatric ward at a hospital. And I'm gonna just anonymize names so that it protects her identity. Yeah, private information. So I told her, oh crap. I told her about what happened, and she wrote, "That's horrible. Psychiatrists easily and quickly diagnose patients with mental illnesses and personality disorders without looking at the physical problems that the patient may have." So she, again, corroborates what I've been telling everyone, that mental health care is broken in Quebec because they deny you access to medical doctors who might explain your symptoms. And they run very superficial minor tests. And usually psychiatric patients do have a lot of comorbid medical disorders, which very well may contribute in a large part to what they're going on mentally, what's going on with them mentally. Sorry, I skip words sometimes accidentally. In the case of, for instance, like psychosis after consuming marijuana, sometimes people end up on antipsychotics that never should have been because they had a temporary episode of psychosis due to cannabis. And maybe they had a sensitivity to it. Okay, so let me finish reading what she wrote. Sorry. My phone wants to be difficult. So, "I find it appalling. When I was hospitalized with you in April, I really suffered after you left. 2 incidents happened for me with a man pissing on the floor. By the way, I saw this one guy piss and shit on the floor every single day. He put his hands twice in my soup while I was eating it. Because I was so fragile at the moment, I started to cry nonstop and screaming for him to stop. And because I could not stop screaming, they put me in a high care isolation room." So because this woman was being traumatized, this very beautiful, nice young woman, they put her into high care because she was upset because a guy who pissed himself was sticking his hands in her soup. I have many examples of this that I witnessed when I was in the psych ward. And again, I am here. Maybe part of my purpose in life was to suffer so that other people don't have to. Okay, why am I getting a pop-up? Okay, so what the fudge? I keep getting pop-ups. That's really annoying. So I was locked in a small room with just a bed fixed on the floor for night and part of the day. I can tell you this was a traumatic experience. And just because that doctor, who her and I both had, told me I had a borderline personality disorder. This doctor superficially appears like he cares, and maybe he sort of does, but his approach, he's a lot more controlling and judgmental than he thinks, and he actually mistreats people. He punishes them. He stood over me while I was having a seizure and was like, "I'm not reacting to this. This is just you acting up. Get up off the floor." Meanwhile, I'm getting bruises all over my body while I'm seizing involuntarily. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. And now, and I will be able to tell the proper story of it. I'm going to write a book about it. I'm going to do a talk about it, and I'm going to report it so that you stop being a fucking asshole to people who are really medically vulnerable. So, and he had to finish the story. "I know very well that this is false because I do not correspond to all the diagnostic criteria of this disorder." Oh, so he also misdiagnosed her just like he misdiagnosed me. He tells her she has a personality disorder because she's freaking out because a guy pissed on his hands and then stuck his fucking hands in her soup, which anybody would freak out over, especially too, once you're on these meds, it alters your perception of reality. And it's very possible too that a lot of mental health patients do have inflamed brains, and we just haven't been able to show it yet on brain scans. It's just tragedy, abject tragedy and cruelty all around, which most of you will never experience because only less than 1% of people are ever hospitalized in mental health institutions. Hey, yay, another time when I'm less than 1 in a million odds. She actually dropped me a link, said, "I found you a resource that can help you with misdiagnosis of doctors. It's the Council for the Protection of Sick People." Oh, trust me, honey, I'll be writing to them. But yes, she doesn't have a personality disorder. She's got bipolar disorder, and she was suicidal. And my presumption of her is that she became suicidal because she was put on Accutane 3 times, and Accutane comes with a suicide risk. So it damaged her brain, even though she's otherwise a lovely, highly intelligent beautiful young woman. And by the way, again, back to the misconceptions about mental health patients, that everybody's crazy, that everybody's in denial. Oh yes, the Dr. Biskin told me that I lacked insight about the true nature of my condition and that I was depressed. Oh my God, I said his name. Whatever. When the reality of my condition is that I retain full awareness, though my brain does get scrambled, but full awareness of what is going on. And even when I cannot talk, I still know what's going on. Okay. And I have no control over the way my brain chooses to act. Zero. And it's not mental illness. And it's not because I have a SAD. I was never fucking sad. I had a virus that attacked my brain in fucking January, and I've been through hell ever since. No, don't find him. Don't find him. Don't find him. Hi, Steven. You're adorable. I really like your shirt. I love you, Stelmy. I love you too, Jacket. And I love you, Frayne and Daniel and John and everybody here. So maybe medication or meditation. Oh, medication. Oh, medication. I don't want no more fucking medication. Trust you me. I went off of one, and that's another thing too. These moronic doctors put me on a heroic dose of Zoloft, which made my seizures worse because whatever's happening in my brain, an excess of serotonin, which I'm going to tell to the neurologist, makes it worse. So I was having more seizures when I was on 150 milligrams of Zoloft. I think I had serotonin syndrome. I had all the symptoms. My heart rate increased. I was sweating profusely. I was going in and out of normal consciousness. I was delirious. I was that in the video wherein they were mistreating me in the hospital in the ER, not the psych ward. I never got video of the psych ward. That was when I had serotonin syndrome. And so the psychiatrist will prescribe this medication and then put the patient at risk and then call them crazy when they have a bad reaction to the medication. It's appalling. It's appalling. And I was smart enough because I'm smart. If I wasn't smart, I would be dead or quite possibly in intensive care right now because they would have continued to drug me and the serotonin syndrome would have gotten worse to the point where they finally would have realized what was happening. Then it would have been, it actually happened to a friend of mine that I met in hospital. The drugs they put him on gave him dystonia and he ended up 10 days in the neurology intensive care unit. And he tried to warn them and I tried to warn them too. I think this is too much. Oh, my hands are doing the thing. I have to calm down. So, and I had a psychiatrist too go, what are you doing with your hands? That thing that you do? Oh yes. As if I have any, because I really love doing the boob grab motion with my hands. And I tried to say, oh yeah. So back to this doctor saying you're depressed. I was like, I as a person am the least depressed person on the planet. I get anxious, but I do not get depressed. And yeah, I had another psychiatrist who put me on a lower dose of Zoloft, but still was putting me on Zoloft. Was like, you can control that. Stop that. What is that? Are you fucking kidding me? It's called an involuntary movement, you fucking moron. Your medical degree went, fuck you. Like, seriously. Your medical degree is useless because you prescribe these medications that you have no intimate knowledge of all the side effects that they cause, if this is a side effect, although in a way it's a side effect, but it's also because it's making whatever's going on in my brain worse, the inflammation from the viral infection that attacked my brain. So they also like to downplay the side effects because they want all mental health care patients to be compliant with meds, even if they don't need the meds. So they'll be like, no, honey, that's not really happening to you. It's like, don't gaslight me. I know it's happening to me and there's something wrong with me. And if I was less intelligent and less aware and had less insight, I would just trust them. And I'm so glad that I have enough insight not to trust them and to know that there's massive problems in that system. I can't stop doing this. I hate it. Right now, my hands are flexed and it hurts me a lot. So I look so shitty. I look so bad. My face also looks puffy. Anyone? It does. It looks puffier than usual. It's just not. It's not. That's also involuntary. I'm so tired, it's really hard going through this. Am I okay? No. Well, yes, I am. I mean, I'm live and alive, but no, my brain has problems. My brain is inflamed. I have a functional neurological disorder. They still have to monitor me for a cerebral spinal fluid leak that I have in my sinuses that drips down my nose. And after I get the spells, I feel better once the fluid zips, once the fluid drips, and I have no control over my body or my thinking, my dots, my bunging, my bugged, my talking sometimes. And anybody trained in would know. It's funny. The other day when I went to see the neurologist, I was having a seizure, and he walked up to me and he said, "Oh my God, this isn't the emergency. Go back to the ER." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm here to see you." I was like, I started crying. I was like, because I've been tortured in the ER, and then telling me I'm crazy and it's all in my head. Meanwhile, I get a neurologist going, "Oh my God, go to the ER." Okay, I'll go back. I had 3 different doctors tell me to go back to the ER and that it was an emergency, including the neurologist that the emergency department sent me to. It's just like, Accutane is fat soluble and makes you crazy if you take too much. That's what happened to her. She's not crazy. It just made her have mental health issues. But the weight ratio tables are for average people, not for fit people, which she was. She was like 93 pounds. So fit people or low fat people get nuked by it. I hate this. This is dystonia, and it hurts me so much. That's also too why I have to get off the medication that I'm on, because it makes this, and the neurologist even said that, because it makes these involuntary movements worse, because those medications can actually cause this. Antipsychotics, because I'm on olanzapine, and I was on a combination of Zoloft and olanzapine. They thought because the lovely doctors like to insist that I was delusional, so I deserve to be on antipsychotics. And what they like to do in psych wards is put people on antipsychotics to calm them down, so that everyone's a zombie and it's compliant. It's horrible. It's horrible. It should be illegal. I've been through hell, guys. Hell from the mental health care system, hell from my own body and brain. But I'm slowly recovering. Like, I slept 8 hours last night, even though I've been having these spells. Now my fingers are going to be weird. I'm a fighter. Davison don't take no shit. Though when Davison was dead, remember, to recap from my last live broadcast, what happened after I got sick and the virus attacked my brain, or whatever it is that it was that attacked my brain, I was cut off from my personality and my emotions and my happiness and the ability to cry. And only as of July the 31st did it start coming back. So before I wasn't making videos for months because I had no personality, and everything that I loved before, I didn't love anymore. And now I sometimes sound like I'm retarded, so people think I'm retarded when I'm really smart. Isn't that awful? Can you imagine being me? It's hard. And again, I would be people telling me it's fake and it's all in my head. I invite you to try to do this to your face. And you guys get to see me go into it, which I think is quite fascinating in and of itself. A previously attractive woman gets fucking fucked in the face. Well, that sounded a lot more graphic than I intended. I should remake that video of that girl, the viral video that went viral with the girl with the face spinning, and she went, and to show that this can happen to people in real life. Like, they can get dystonia and actually look like the warped filter on a webcam. Oh, thank God. Now I'm going to stick out my tongue again. But you guys haven't answered me. Do you guys notice the fact that my face looks puffy? My eyes don't look right. My eyes aren't the same pretty, like, they're still the same color, but they look darkened, and there's something not right with my face. I see it. Do you guys see it? By the way, too, if anybody wants to join my main channel on YouTube, not this one, there's 55 vlogs that I've been doing for over a year that you get for $5 a month. You can cancel at any time. So you can get 1 month and then cancel. See all the 55 episodes if it interests you. It's a frank behind the scenes of me creating content for Patreon and then me progressively getting sicker. I had to take, of course, several months off because, as I was just explaining before, when my personality got cut off, another weird thing is that I would experience anything I enjoyed as physical pain. And I'm sure a functional MRI would have corroborated that. So if I tried to say drink a bubble tea, which I love, I would be like bubble tea and I'd feel this like horrible feeling in my head. But now I'm like, I love bubble tea. I love YouTube. YouTube too. I was like, YouTube. And I also thought I was dying. I thought I would never make another YouTube video ever again. But I'm back. It's Brittany, bitch. I'm back, bitch. You guys aren't saying nothing. So hit the like button if you're here so that this shares wider. I'm willing to answer your questions. You don't see anything wrong with your face. It's looking more normal. Okay, that's good. Okay, so that's actually good to hear because I can't be that objective about my face. I can only see what I see. But I also noticed oh, my nose is dripping. Hold on. I only noticed in noticing and when I went back to start watching my YouTube videos again that I was a lot prettier than I used to think I was, if that makes any sense. I was like, oh, I thought I didn't look that good, which is a thing, and now by comparison, I think I look pretty good. I sound drunk, but I'm not, just so you know. Can you imagine how you can be mistreated in the ER if they don't know what's wrong with you and they treat you like you're either crazy? This is what the neurologist said to me the other day. He's like, they treat people like you like they're crazy. And I was like, oh God. And they're not. It's awful. But that's okay. I'm here and I'm fighting for this, guys. I look normal. Okay. It was looking worse before. Okay, good. I love you guys. I love you, John. Love you, Fran. Love you, Steven. I thought about you guys a lot. And that doctor who's well-intentioned but has flaws. I was going to say something far worse than that. He was like, what do your fans think of all this? I'm like, I'm so sad in my head because only half my brain was working. I was like, my brain is half dead. I can't even think about how to go to the bathroom. Let alone worry about if my fans don't love me anymore, or you know what I mean, or my fans would want to support me. But that was another thing. That was another symptom of I'm having a brain lapse. That was another symptom of my disease. I withdrew socially from everyone. I'm having so many seizures right now in my brain. I get these gaps. It's an absence seizure. So it's like I go blank and then I can't think properly. I got to have a seizure again. Hold on. Oh, okay. What's this going to be? Is that it? Okay, that's okay. That's it. That's enough. No, not enough. Zinging that and again. Oh. And fuck. Sorry, I keep saying fuck a lot today. Fudge. So I was better this morning. It's weird. This afternoon seems to be worse than the morning for my seizures. I don't know why. Hi, Jonathan, or not Jonathan. See, I even said the wrong name. I read Thomas, but I said Jameson. No. Wow. I read Thomas, but I said Jonathan. See, you guys see, like in real time, like how my brain it scrambles. Yes, you're right. Psych meds are chemical compounds that can make your physiological symptoms even worse. That's exactly what the neurologist said. And he he pretty overtly, but somewhat wink, wink, nudge, nudge said, you know, you might want to go off of them because it's probably not helping you. But, well, he did sort of overtly say that. He did say that but go off them slowly because it's dangerous to go off them quickly. So he agreed. You do not need psych meds. You need to go off them because they're going to scramble you even more, but just don't do it too fast. Because when you taper too fast, you can actually cause psychosis that you never had before. So they can make you go crazy because they basically alter, as you know, the liar from the Shire. They alter your neurons and upregulate things and downregulate things. I think they downregulate receptors, and then they need to be re-upregulated. But then sometimes it also forces your brain to grow more neurons because of neuroplasticity. So then all of a sudden you will have too much dopamine, which will make you psychotic. It's a clusterfuck. I want to recover you at once. Thank you, Tana Verdi. Grazie. Grazie. Are they recommending brain surgeries? That's the last resort. I was going to say last resort because my brain loves to say G's now. He wants to, because he's, ouch, my head hurts so much. Fuck. Fudge. Oh, my head is hurting me so much. So he's like, brain surgery is dangerous and you don't want that. I was like, of course I don't want brain surgery. So he wants to head out. He wants to try to visit and he wants to try to deal with this conservatively. What if the government plants a microchip in your brain instead? Yo, I'd take that any day. If they fix my brain but install a microchip, I call that deal. Deal or no deal. We just made a deal. Sure, government, fine. Install a microchip in my brain if it makes my brain better. Where do I sign up for this chip? Please. Done. Deal. So, Davison, how are you doing? I've been better, but I've been worse. Which I think is a pretty fair assessment. Guys, hit the like button if you're here because I've only got 4 likes and my brain is now stabbing me here. And now the fluid is now the fluid's gonna drip from my ghost. Oh, that's great. Thank you, brain. I mean, who wouldn't hit the like button for this? Am I not the most beautiful woman on Tinder right now? I mean, there's no one. So hi to everybody who's here. I'm just going over what I've endured thus far. I'm a functional neurologic disorder patient with a leak in my brain. My brain gets scrambled and makes my body do weird things. I sometimes pull weird faces I can't control. My tongue sticks out. My speech gets scrambled. My thoughts get scrambled. I babble. I'm not drunk. I'm not insane. I had a virus attack my brain in January, and now I'm recovering. That said, there's still a possibility that they have not found what's inflaming my brain. So they're following me closely. I just emailed my neurologist to say, because I see a distinct relationship between stabbing, head pain, weird behavior, feeling of the whooshy seizure that I get, and then the fluid dripping from my nose. So it's pretty critical. And hell. And I will, what's the word I'm looking for? Not retribution, not avenge. Though those words come to mind. I'm taking too long because this is going to make you guys lose interest. I will rectify what happened between me and psychiatry, but I didn't. That's not the word that I wanted to use, and it's somewhat like avenge, but not as angry. there will be justice for me with what happened to me in the mental health care system and the medical health care system. It's just going to take time, and I'm going to help other people in the process. So, every cloud is a silver lining. Wow. Every cloud has a silver lining, and you have to make lemons out of lemonade. No, you have to make lemonade out of lemons. You have to make lemonade out of lemons. Does weed help? I haven't tried. I dare not touch weed. Oh, look, when I get nervous, this sometimes happens. My involuntary movements are made worse by by anxiety. I dare not touch weed or anything that affects my brain because I went off of Zoloft. So my body's gradually getting used to not having that. And I'm going off of olanzapine, and I'm down to about 2 milligrams of olanzapine. I ordered a jeweler's scale so I can taper more accurately because my psychiatrist, of course, she doesn't want to help me taper off because they never go off your meds, dears. When in reality, if you look up Robert Whitaker's research, it's proven that a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people who go off psych meds do way better than the people that stay on them because they fuck up your brain. And as I made the comparison before, psych drugs are like having a car that needs windshield washer fluid replaced, and instead of opening up the cap of the windshield washer fluid container or receptacle, you take the windshield washer fluid, which is the SSRIs or the psych drugs, and you pour it all over the engine, and a little bit will get into the right receptacle or compartment for the windshield washer fluid, but most of it's fucking up your engine. You've now fucked up your engine just to get a little bit of windshield washer fluid. And I don't know about you, but I now know I love my brain because my brain is all that I have. We have to a certain degree our physical bodies. That's very, very important. But we are our brains, our souls, they're here. They're energy. There's a metaphysical aspect to us, but our souls are in our brain. So you do not want to fuck this shit up. And I know what it's like to live with this shit being fucked up. And I can't even believe this is real. And it's very overwhelming for me to go through all of this. I've gradually felt more and more of my brain coming back online and more of me coming back. And it's like this rebirth. And it's so overwhelming to go. I went 7 months without feelings, normal feelings. My feelings, it was like a line like this, a slope. So I had feelings in January, but they gradually started getting more cut off. And especially in February, I was like, my anxiety is weird. I feel weird. I don't want to touch YouTube. I can't watch TikTok anymore. I'm avoiding TikTok. I'm avoiding YouTube. I'm confused. My memory's going. I'm having these weird, vivid dreams. And so my brain having no feelings, I'd say like entirely has been about a good 4 months. And then now that's like, it's like you feel like, when you turn on a light switch. I felt the moment that the light switch went off in my brain when the brain damage started. It was like I felt like a little light. I'm going to shudder. This is a shiver. This is so uncanny. It's doing this. I literally felt the moment when there's something that went off in my head. It was like this. It was when it broke. It was like tink. Again, if you've never gone through it, it might be hard for you to relate to. Most people have not gone through what I've gone through, but I felt it. And I knew at that moment, I'm like, there's something wrong with my fucking brain. And it took this long to start to figure it out. 8 months of fucking hell. But now I'm back. I'm back, bitch. I'm back, bitches. I just can't even believe. Robert, hello, love. Glad you're finding help. Yeah. No alcohol. Nope. And that's weird. I have to fight some weird impulses now because my impulses are not always normal lately. That's making me nervous. Because I have some increased anxiety from all the way my brain's misfiring. I have good impulse control. And that I don't know why it scares me to say I have good impulse control because there was a moment when I was afraid that I was going to lose impulse control. And so how that relates to alcohol and drugs is that I felt like I wanted to drink last night, and that would be very dangerous for me now. And I was not a drinker, but I have to fight stuff that's bad for me because my brain sometimes still gets kind of confused. And so I'm like, also there's like multiple layers to consciousness, which we sort of, some psychiatrists and philosophers, fuck psychiatrists, some philosophers have described. I was kind of referring to Freud, you know, the ego, the superego, the id. But I now that I've lived with a brain that's different, it's not neurotypical anymore. As I've been not neurotypical for months, I know that your brain talks to itself. And in schizophrenia, the normal chatter between the areas of the brain that are communicating to make sure you don't do anything bad to yourself and lose impulse control, malfunction, and you misinterpret those communications as voices. So in my case, thank God our consciousness is located in regulation in multiple regions of the brain. The brain's great. It's got, you know, it's got, what's the term when it's got redundancies in it. So it's got intentional redundancies so that if part of it is damaged, it can still function as best it can. The brain really wants to survive and function normally. So there's a redundancy in impulse control, sort of, and there's redundancies in our personality, sort of. And back to what I was saying about the layers of consciousness, like, as I know now, the dominant part of my brain, the main one that's not the redundancy, is emotional and is Davison and is creative and is random and is weird and experimental. And the redundancy that does communicate, as it's communicating right now, is MA, which is more intellectual. And that's genetically, that came from my father, I believe, and my emotional side and creative side is more like my mother. And I'm very intimately aware of the fact that my brain is somehow a balance of the two, and maybe even structurally, it's a mix of structures that are present in my mother and structures that are present in my father. You're sounding more like yourself now. I am, because me is coming back, but it's very hard to know every day that I go asleep. Oh, that was great grammar, Davison. That I go to sleep, that I will wake up and, you know, I will suffer again. That's kind of hard. I was in a psych ward. I wasn't just in a psych ward once. I was in a psych ward twice, actually 3 times. But the little mini stay in the middle was when I was having voluntary movements. I couldn't walk properly because my back spasms, because part of my brain responsible for communicating with my fucking ability to walk and my spine stopped working. So they were like, oh, you're just crazy. Like you can control. I lost count of the number of nurses that told me I could control my body when I couldn't. Cruelty. Can you imagine you're bleeding and you've 10 people standing over you and going, you're not bleeding. You're acting up. Just stop it, or take this pill and it'll make it stop. Fuck you. I shouldn't say fuck you, but I'm saying fuck a lot today, but fuck you guys. You hurt me so bad, all of you. And I should have compassion. Wait, you guys need education. Instead of anger, you should get education from me. Anybody have any questions about what it's like to be in a psych ward? I've got plenty of insider knowledge as an intelligent woman who lost her mind due to a brain infection and a leak in her brain and was institutionalized. I did partially need help for my anxiety because it got to the point where it wasn't normal and I wasn't thinking right and I wasn't myself. So that was true. So it's kind of a paradox wherein I needed help. I needed some sort of monitoring, but I think I would have been better in a medical ward than a psych ward. The drugs ultimately hurt me more than they helped me, and that's why now I'm going off them. From the beginning of the psych ward story, oh God. Also, I was having memory problems, and in trauma, but my brain was still logging everything. So a lot of stuff that I went through, I couldn't remember, and it's coming back now. Also, when my brain got infected and my consciousness was impaired, I stopped thinking about the future. And my main personality is future oriented. People have a tendency to orient their consciousness in terms of the future, the present, or the past. So, some people live in the past, some people live in the present. I'm always future oriented. I'm always here when it's no, be here. And then I'm never there. I always cut off my past. But when half my brain shut down, The MA part of my brain, which was still alive, was reliving her past. And I now understand what it's like to have your life flash in front of your eyes, because my life was... Sorry. My life was flashing in front of my eyes. So when you die, your life flashes in front of your eyes. And I was living that. Oh, God. But I guess I've had the experience of a lifetime. It's been a trip, man. Oh, see, I'm still not laughing fully right. My face isn't moving right. I also had flattened affect, guys. I know you want me to tell the psych ward story, but part of my face was frozen. My face was frozen. It got more and more frozen from here to here, and I couldn't move my face until the end of January. And now actually it feels a little frozen right now, which is disturbing me. But I had a theory that I've had all these facial spasms. Oh, I talk about them when they come. I've had all these facial spasms because my brain is actually rewiring itself to make my face move again. Isn't that crazy? So it's like, because it's like trying to go, okay, rewire. So it's like, it's rewiring, but it's like malfunction. Yes, all this in 2020. And there's a theory that coronavirus is what attacks my brain, because a lot of people get neuro COVID. So also my boyfriend, who's no longer my boyfriend, got COVID, which is terrible for him. And he got pneumonia twice. So let's do the math. If my boyfriend got COVID, who probably got COVID? And what did COVID do to Davison? Instead of just something normal like pneumonia, which isn't normal, it decided to attack my brain. And I need to get a COVID antibody test. People are still yelling at me, get a Lyme test. This could be neuro-Lyme. My boyfriend, I know it's crazy, my ex-boyfriend. My boyfriend, he also got Lyme. I'm not even shitting you. I have images of it. He got Lyme last January. Can you imagine? Or not January, July. So in July 2019, he got Lyme, and then he got COVID sometime this year. The guy's had a really rough couple of years. He's probably happy about us breaking up, though. Let's just put it that way. But he's had it rough. So I've had the worst year of my life. I think a lot of people have had the worst year. I've been getting. Hit the like button if you're here. Say hello. Ask questions. I think a lot of people have had the worst year of their life. So I call him my boyfriend, my not boyfriend, because we've been off and on for a very long time. He has issues. I have issues. We have compatibility issues. I love him dearly, but we're not meant to be together. And I was, it's very obvious to me now. I caused him stress. He couldn't even handle me going through this. So it's better that he be with someone who's like a little bit more low key, and he wants to be more dominant in the relationship, and I'm too dominant. So just we clash, we butt heads, even if we love each other. So just if you needed to know some personal information, that's what's going on with me romantically. And I was about to buy a house before I got sick. Okay, so the psych ward story. Oh God, the psych ward story. And I'm going to write a book about all of this. But what do you want me to say? Okay, how I got into the psych ward. This is such a long story. This is months and months of story, guys. Love you, Thomas. I can't say I've had the worst year of my life because I'm still employed when many weren't. Yeah, and if you didn't get a brain infection, you're doing pretty good. Ouch, it hurts. Hold on. I'm having a neck spasm. And by the way, from going off antipsychotics, you can also make your movement problems worse. So it's this horrible hell of like needing to go off of them, but you can't go too fast, but you need to stay on them. It's just bad. Oh, I'm really in bad shape. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay. I'm okay. Okay. Sorry, I needed to lay down. Oh, I still feel like I need to lay down. My head's whooshing. So back to the story. I couldn't sleep. So one of the symptoms of my illness was that I gradually couldn't sleep. I slept less and less. And I got, first I was extremely exhausted from the brain infection. I couldn't help but go to sleep at 5 p.m. every night, and I'd sleep on and off till noon the next day. And then I'd have a brief window where I'd be normal. Again, that sort of mimics what's going on now, wherein I'm worse in the morning, worse in the evening, but then I get respite throughout the day. That parabola is significant. Medical professional, the genius neuroscientist I'm working with, hopefully will be able to explain this, and maybe this will help people with COVID. So this is what my day is like, parabolic curve of feeling terrible. But yes, so at first I had interrupted sleep and exhaustion, and that gradually, and by the way, I still worked on Patreon despite being in the worst shape of my life, and hid it really well. So, I was getting naked and smiling when I couldn't even feel happiness. So I literally was forcing my face to smile when I couldn't feel anything, and smiling caused me physical pain. Again, I have to stop singing again. So, I went to the ER because I went from interrupted sleep to I could only sleep 2 hours a night. And the rest of the night I would get night sweats, sweaty palms of hands and feet. I'd be going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I'd roll around. I had this weird anxiety. I couldn't think right. My thoughts were confused. I was paranoid. I was like, not paranoid all the time, but like I had weird paranoid thoughts. I couldn't do math anymore. I was like, there's something really not normal with my brain right now. Like there is something wrong, deeply wrong with my brain. So I finally went to the ER after getting a total of 6 hours of sleep in 3 days. And I said, I can't sleep. I have a horrible head, and I had a bit of a headache. I have a headache. I feel like I have dementia. Like I'm losing my memory. I'm losing my ability to do math. I'm losing my ability to talk. There's something very wrong with my brain. And she's like, have you tried Tylenol? The triage nurse. I'm like, have I tried Tylenol? Did you not just listen to what I said? Tylenol's a miracle pill? Are you kidding me? Sorry. Have you tried Tylenol for your headache and your lack of sleep and your brain being scrambled? Have I tried Tylenol? Well, little did I know that they would put me on something much worse than Tylenol. This is good for my book. That should be a catchphrase from now on. Have you tried Tylenol to like any horrible problem? Your house is burning down. Have you tried Tylenol? Your wife is cheating on you with 8 women. Women, wow. Have you tried Tylenol? I can't tell you what the title of my book is because right now I'm going to reserve the domain name for it. I'm not going to tell you. I know exactly what it's going to be. Hello. Thank you, Low Fidelity Films. Much love to you. So to get back on track, they then, instead of sending me to the medical doctor, and I was naive to the whole psych system, they sent me to a little room where they said, hey, we're just going to lock this door. And I was like, why are they locking the door? Trust me, you don't want to go into the area of the hospital where they lock the door, because that's what they do to psych patients. They lock the door and they don't let them out unless a very arrogant psychiatrist comes into the room. By the way, the theme song for Psychiatrist is the Imperial March. Dun, 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 dun. And they look like, what do psychiatrists look like? They look like, but no, hold on. Hold on, I gotta get dressed up like a psychiatrist. Hold on. Max, just make sure I don't do anything weird, okay? Max?
What?
Make sure I don't do anything weird because I'm giddy.
Can't hear you.
Here. Okay. So make sure I don't do anything weird because I'm giddy.
I know. Did you comment on a terrarium test?
Yes, I did.
What?
And I made a joke. What is this fresh hell? You get it?
Yeah, that's fresh.
I stopped being able to make jokes, by the way, when my personality died. Oh, this isn't good. Hold on. I can't do it that way. Make sure I don't do anything weird. I'm getting carried away. I gotta calm down. Okay. No, this isn't good either.
What?
I'm dressing up like a psychiatrist. Guys, sorry, it's far more elaborate to dress up like a psychiatrist than I thought it would be. Max, could you do me a favor?
What?
Can you go get the glasses that are in front of the computer? Because I want to walk in like the psychiatrist.
Yeah, I guess.
Can you get the glasses? The glasses that are. Oh,
Yes.
oh, okay. I thought you had a shirt on.
No. We're gonna go across the street after this.
Well, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. Very fancy.
I'm now dressed up like a psychiatrist. They don't even know that I knew what they were doing to me the entire time, but because I was so sick, I couldn't even respond to them right because my brain was half shut down. So I was aware of what was going on, but I didn't react as I would. Have you tried Tylenol? No, that's not what psychiatrists say. Psychiatrists say, "Hi, have you tried Haldol, olanzapine, Seroquel, Busprion, and Paxil? Oh, we should add something to that. I think we should add a little bit of Zoloft." Do I look like a credible psychiatrist, Max?
Yes, it's the glasses that make it. I'll be right back.
I'm sorry, you lack insight. Well, but I will never tell you you lack insight. I look like a fucking psychiatrist. There are some nice psychiatrists. I met a very nice. Typically the nice psychiatrists are the residents, because they haven't really worked on the evil side of them enough yet. The residents are still young and they're still open-minded, and maybe they're from a different generation that's more open-minded, because the psychiatrists that I'm referring to are of my generation or even before, in their 40s and their 50s, in their 60s, and you gotta be a type of person to be a psychiatrist, and I mean that. Sometimes, again, not all psychiatrists are the same. Not all psychiatrists. Hashtag not all psychiatrists. And I think some are well-intentioned, but they're incredibly misguided. So, Miss Davison, tell me what's happened. Well, doctor. No, that's going to take too much energy to switch between the glasses. The Davison glasses. Well, doctor, I haven't been able to sleep, and what's been happening to me since January, this is the beginning of the mental ward story. What's been happening to me since the beginning of January is that I can't sleep properly at night. My sleep is interrupted. I have headaches. I get confused. I've got memory issues. My anxiety is weird. It's getting a lot worse. I can't sleep. The palms of my hands get sweaty. I hypersalivate, which is weird, which is why I briefly thought I had rabies, by the way. I didn't have rabies. I even got vaccinated for rabies in the off chance that nobody thought I had rabies and I did, and maybe I could confer myself a little bit of protection, which was crazy, but in a way very bold of me. Anyhow, so psychiatrist, and I don't know what to do because I can't work like I used to. I'm running. So this was, again, I think at the end of April at the end of March was when I stopped working as much. It was the end of March on Patreon, because I couldn't think right. I couldn't feel right. It was painful for me to do the work. Add to that the absurdity of getting naked and having to get naked when you feel like your brain isn't working right and your personality isn't working right. So anyhow, back to doctor. So what do I do? And so then the doctor, I see. Well, it appears as if you have an anxiety disorder that you need to treat. So what we're going to do is we're going to start you on. Have you heard of a drug called citalopram? No, I've never heard of citalopram. And what will citalopram do? Oh, well, you see, it's just going to help you out so much. It's going to make you all better. And we should fix the sleeping problem. How about we give you some? It's a drug. Don't be scared. It is an antipsychotic, but it's called Seroquel. Seroquel. What's Seroquel for? Okay, well, it makes you really relaxed and it'll help you get the sleep you need. We'll just put you on a baby dose that's like 25 milligrams, and you'll be able to sleep. Just take it for a couple of months until your sleep gets better, because what's going on with you right now is that you have an anxiety disorder and it came back. Maybe you were stressed from work. Have you been stressed from work? Well, I mean, I work a lot, but no, I loved my job, but it's kind of weird because I feel like I stopped loving my job because I don't really feel like myself. I see. Yes. But then you really were not feeling so well, and you really have been sort of depressed and anxious. So, and that's why you can't sleep. So this is going to help you out. Also, if the Seroquel doesn't work, there's also a drug called trazodone. What's trazodone? What's trazodone? Oh, well, it's an antidepressant, but you can use it like not an antidepressant. Instead of using it like an antidepressant, it'll just put you to sleep, and it might help the anxiety a little bit. Okay. I can tell that you're scared and I can tell that you're worried, but don't worry. We're gonna make you better. You just have to take the pills. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll take the pills. And then I entered 3 months of hell from that moment forward when I started to take the pills. I'm sorry. This is so earth-shattering and powerful for me that I'm feeling like this wave of energy go through my body as to how traumatizing all of this was. I literally need to lay down for a minute. I think I've set it up well enough. Hold on. I'm dizzy. head's hurting a bit, guys. My head's stabbing. Yes, Thomas. And also, it's just impossible to get naked unless you're in the right state of mind. Guys, I'm dressed up like a psychiatrist right now. If you're just joining me, I would never dress up like this. This is for psychiatrists. This isn't. Although I do own this clothing. Actually, this was for when I went to conferences. You know how Davison dresses. She doesn't typically. I feel like I look old. I look older with dressed like this. Ugh. So back to innocent little Davison who couldn't sleep with a brain infection, going into the psych doctor, seeing the psych doctor at the Jewish General. So, okay, so I'm going to let you go home with your prescription, and you'll get better. And it's up to you. You can start the anti-anxiety drug next week, but for now, we're going to treat your insomnia with the Seroquel and the Trazodone, and you should see some improvements fairly quickly. Okay. Thank you. You don't understand what's going on. You should go back in the stream because I'm acting out me having a brain infection and not being able to sleep and getting headaches and going into the hospital for them to only send me to the psych ward because the nurse in triage was like, have you tried Tylenol to help your problem? As if Tylenol was going to help me sleep and fix a fucking brain infection that no one knew I had. I can't even believe they sent me to psych. I can't even believe it. It sort of ruined my life temporarily, but that's fine. It makes for a great story. Tragedy over time becomes a best-selling novel. And a hello dab on the peepers. So anyhow, back to the story. So I went home and I didn't take the psych meds right away because I was afraid. I researched Seroquel. I researched Trazodone. And from the research, it looked like a lot of people were saying some pretty bad things about these drugs, like, do not take, ruined my life. And I was like, but then there are other people that are like, oh, it helped me sleep, but I'm okay. And that's the truth about psych meds. They're very polarized. But I'd say the opinions are polarized, but they help, in a way, they help very few people, but ruin the lives of a lot greater amount of people. So it's kind of, it's more like a pyramid, not even a pyramid. What would it be like? Doesn't matter what shape it would be like. You get it. So the first night I took Seroquel, it didn't hurt me that much. However, abnormally, because there was abnormal swelling in my brain, I think, and because the neurotransmitters are screwed up by whatever fucked my brain, or the antibodies in my, who knows. I got involuntary movements. I got pill rolling right away. And I was like, whoa, that's what's known as dyskinesia. I don't want to have, you can have this happen for the rest of your life. And actually I'm doing this. It's like triggering it. It's literally triggering it because some of the movements that I do, part of this functional neurologic disorder is that I have to retrain my brain to not do weird things. So I have to fight it repetitively until it goes away. And I have to not, and if I trigger it, I have to correct it. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to be taking this Seroquel. Also, when I was on Seroquel the first night, I took off my pants in my sleep and went to the bathroom and I woke up and I don't remember it. So Seroquel's gentle though. Like it did make me feel calm. It did make me feel warm. And of the antipsychotics, at least for me, because everybody reacts differently, Seroquel is kind of like a warm blanket, but that makes you dumb and retarded and forget things. And it's the consequence of Seroquel is that you become dependent on it and then you can't sleep without it. So that's the dark side of Seroquel. And Seroquel, there's an article that was released, I believe, in the New Yorker, or it was the National Post, I don't remember which one, that says antipsychotics are not sleeping pills, and they should never be prescribed casually by doctors as sleeping pills, even though so many doctors, increasingly numbers of doctors are like, oh, wait, no, I have to be a medical doctor, because medical doctors are now guilty of this, but oh, you have a problem with sleeping? Just take this antipsychotic, which will permanently fuck the dopamine receptors or temporarily fuck the dopamine receptors in your brain. Oh, I would never say fuck. They will temporarily fuck the dopamine receptors in your brain. But actually, there's some theory too. There's a guy called Mark Dunn on Quora. He's amazing. Mark Dunn, you will never watch this, but if you're watching this, Mark Dunn, you're astounding. You're brilliant. unfortunately, we don't know how much damage antipsychotics or psych meds, doesn't even have to be antipsychotics, or atypical antipsychotics cause the brain. Some damage can be and is permanent, especially the longer you take them. And thankfully, the brain is neuroplastic, and over time it will recover, usually. But some people are left with permanent damage, like, oh, I actually have damage in my wrist, and I will have to ask, but my tendon is permanently contracted in my wrist now, on both wrists. Again, the doctor that I saw on Friday, the brilliant neuroscientist, he was like, you have to get off the drugs because they're going to make what's going on with you worse. And he's right. So back to Mark Dunn. Some receptors in the brain get blocked and some never come back. And they say that antipsychotics and atypical antipsychotics, and to a certain degree SSRIs, it's like the 21st century lobotomy. And we'll look back at this time in psychiatry as one of the most gruesome and savage periods in history for mental health, because they thought they were helping patients, much like they thought they were helping patients when they were lobotomizing them, when really they were damaging the most sensitive organ in our body that is not as easily repaired and takes a lot longer to repair. Oh, my face is doing that again, than the rest of our bodies. I had said to a nurse in the ER recently, when they were, again, not understanding what I was going through and were treating me like I was insane. I was like, I don't want to bring this on myself, knock on wood, I will not do this, but I'd rather break both of my legs than go through what I went through. And then to go through also what briefly some of this medication did to my brain. I did not get steroids or cortisone. You put cortisone, but it's cortisone. At least in Canada, maybe in Switzerland it's cortisone, and in cortisone, but in Canada it's cortisone. No, because it's likely a virus that attacked my brain. Technically, the doctor said on Friday, he's like, it's gone now. You got sick way the hell back in January. So it's probably not still present now. So there's no point in putting you on medication. It's long gone. The trigger is long gone, and now you're recovering from it. That said, he left open the possibility that the trigger is not fully explained yet, and I've not fully recovered from it. So we have to, that diagnosis is with a caveat, but the proper treatment for a viral meningitis is not steroids. Yes, Thomas. I don't want to repeat that, because when I say things that are disturbing, it affects me too much. Like, it affects me very deeply, and I feel more than I used to. I'm not used to having feelings. Remember, I didn't have proper feelings till July. So I get kind of overwhelmed sometimes, and it scares me more than it would have if I was normal, I hate that my face is fucked. Wow, the American. Yeah, I'm Canadian. So what ended up happening then after I took the Seroquel and got the involuntary movements was that I decided to quit the Seroquel, and instead I took trazodone. Oh my God. Trazodone made me awake for 24 hours. I went insane. I thought I was going to die. I was having the disordered thought that if I scratched my gum while flossing my teeth, that I would lose all of my teeth. It gave me temporary delirium / psychosis. So I actually had to go back to the hospital, and I told them, I'm insane. I took trazodone. It made me feel insane. What do we do? I think I'm psychotic right now. And so the doctor was like, actually, to his credit, he's like, and I'm like, and I still think there's something wrong with my brain, because it doesn't make sense that I would have this severe reactions to drugs that typically get prescribed to patients and they don't have as severe of a reaction. It was a sign that there was something profoundly wrong with my brain. Then immediately I got these intense reactions because I didn't need to be recorrecting whatever was going on. In fact, the neurotransmitters in my brain were already all fucked up. So this is fucking them up even more. And so they said, okay, what we're going to do now is next week. So next week, we've determined that you're going to be fine. You just had a bad reaction to the trazodone. So next week, what we're going to do is you're going to start that anti-anxiety medication that we gave to you. Do you remember we gave you that prescription, right? Oh, yes. And again, and this time when I went into, this time when I went into the emergency psych ward, because you're sent to the ER psych before you're sent up to the ward. And most people never get up to the ward level. I was lucky. I was like the psych contestant on is that the psych is right. The psych isn't right. The psych is not right. So, yes, only mental health can take away your rights. You damn straight and take away your rights. They do. It is a game of, I'm just trying to help you. And it's incredibly sad to see that you're suffering right now. But if you would only listen to us and take your medication, you would get better. But you're a bad patient because, no, I would never say that. They would never say that. They'd be like, no, they would never tell you you're non-compliant. They would just say that behind your back. You're just so, we can see that you're suffering, and we can see that you do have a mental illness so profound that you don't get that. We're doing what's best for you. And if you don't agree with this, unfortunately, we're going to have to put you into high care, or we will get a court order that forces you to take the medication. So I need you to understand that we just want you to get better. You just have to stick on this medication. But if you don't stick on this medication, just know that we will bring you to court, but it's for your own best interest. So the liar from the Shire, you obviously have been in the mental health care system because you understand this bullshit. So, and not only that, they kept denying to test my brain and not believing me and taking me at face value when I was like, there is something wrong with my brain. I know, I can tell, but maybe to them that sounds crazy because they're used to people who are mentally ill. Some of them do have delusions. They have delusions of persecution. Schizophrenics hear voices. They believe they see people that aren't there. So why would Davison be any different? Well, because it's Davison, but they don't know that. Instead, they're incredibly judgmental and they're like, wow, maybe in private when they talk to one another, when they leave the room, when they come in as twos, they then leave the room and proceed to go, oh, she's got this, this, and this, and this. And she's lack of insight grade 5. Just fuck off. And then me, now I know what was going on. Now I can articulate it. At the time, I was in a very vulnerable position and I was confused and I had brain inflammation and I was messed up and scrambled. And after trazodone was then psychotic. So what was I supposed to do? And I had my brother screaming at me, just take your meds. Because there's this horrible pervasive belief in our society that taking your meds is going to fix everything. And that psychiatrists, that I am right, because I'll tell you why we are right is because we've got science on our side. And because we talk in a very calm, authoritative voice, and we never lose our temper. And in society, we respect people that are calm, logical, and rational, and never lose their temper. Versus, can you see this patient over here? She's crying. She's not sleeping. She's got anxiety. She's not aware that she's making her case worse by not simply trusting our authority. They have studied that shit. And just take the meds. They've studied that shit. Oh, you're supporting what I was saying. No. If you're saying the opposite of what I think you're saying and you're disagreeing with me, no, they haven't studied the medication that much. They've studied it on very small groups of young men. They haven't studied them necessarily on groups of lower body weight women with other metabolic disorders, nor have they studied them long term. A lot of these meds were studied for a total of 6 weeks before they were given to people and damaging their brains. It's disgusting what's going on right now in psychiatry. There's some good. Okay, there's some good. I'm going to say that there are definitely some patients that are helped by medication. But I know from being around these patients and listening to them and believing them that the meds do not frequently work. AudioVox says it's all just drug. Oh, goodness. What's the problem with meds? Depends on the med. Depends on the person, as AudioVox said. Depends on so many factors. However, I had said this before, psychiatric medication is like, say you've got a problem with your windshield washer fluid and you need to refill it. Instead of refilling the windshield washer fluid in the right, compartment in your car, you take the windshield washer fluid and you pour it all over the engine and all over the windshield, all over the different components, and you maybe get a little bit of windshield washer fluid right in the right receptacle in your car, but you've just destroyed the entire engine, which is the analogy for your brain, because your brain is the engine. And maybe there was a tiny problem in one little region of the brain, but it's that you're bathing the brain in these very, very, very powerful chemicals that bypass the blood-brain barrier and do profound damage. In many cases, they downregulate certain receptors that we need, and there's side effects to every single one of the meds. So even if it stops your voices, even if it stops your anxiety, even if it makes you sleep, all of a sudden you're developing diabetes, you're developing involuntary movements, you're at increased risk of heart disease. Olanzapine, what they put me on, they don't even know how, back to what's wrong with the med. They haven't even studied this. They don't even know why it impairs glucose regulation in your body. It affects your pancreas. And they don't even know why or how. They're just beginning to realize in mental health that a lot of the neurotransmitters are actually manufactured in our guts. For years, I'll give you another analogy. They thought that ulcers, stomach ulcers, were caused by physical stress. Well, all of a sudden there was a medical discovery. Turns out it's H. pylori that causes these lesions. Well, the same thing to a certain degree is going on in psychiatry. They actually did a study that, a good study, finally a good one, of course not sponsored by the pharmaceutical industry, which I'm not entirely against, but I'm slightly against, and more on that later. Slightly against in certain cases. Drugs save lives, but drugs also harm a lot of people, and there's always side effects, and it's a risk-benefit ratio analysis. But the risks of psych meds, in many cases, far exceed the benefits, and these mental health conditions could be treated in other ways, such as cognitive behavior therapy, that are less invasive, less damaging, and less likely to permanently alter the seat of our soul, the brain. So yes, they do. They do destroy your whole body. And people on antipsychotics lose teeth. They don't know why. So your teeth will start falling out of your fucking head. I met a girl in the ward who lost her 2 front teeth. What is Davison known for? Her beautiful smile. I don't want to lose my teeth. But I don't even need the meds. So I'm lucky. I also feel sad for the people that kind of have to lose their teeth to save their mind a little bit. And our bodies instinctively know when they're being poisoned. That's why compliance to medication is like 20% once you leave the hospital or long term. It's so low because you can literally feel your body being fucked up and your skin gets oily or no, I'm not going to be calm. I'm impassioned by this. What I am saying is very well considered and true. And just because I'm not, would you prefer if I deliver this information like this? I mean, I know I would be listened to more if we'll just have this discussion. So the problem with psych meds is that they're not thoroughly studied. And a lot of the studies that are critical of psych meds never make it into published medical journals. So this is something that is not frequently known. It's, of course, not disclosed. And so there's this deliberate halo effect around certain medication that is unwarranted and unjustified. Is that better? No, that's not me. This is also funny. One of the psychiatrists was like, he was like, what you need to do is you need to focus on having more emotions because clearly I think we're getting tired of this shtick. I think I need to stop being the psychiatrist. But no, I don't, because psych patients in some ways know more than psychiatrists, and psychiatrists could really benefit by listening more to psych patients and believing them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Thomas. It's okay. People don't know. People are well-intentioned, but don't realize the harm that they're causing. That's what I've learned throughout all of this. And when I make a talk about what I went through, I will try to be very fair. I will try to be very fair to this person. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wait. I know what I can do. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. He's speaking, he's calling you a simp because you're being supportive of me. He's not a simp. Okay, I can tell you're a little bit emotionally. I'm sorry, Dab on the people. We need to have a conversation. Have you ever heard of the drugs Adderall? Because it appears to me as if you have a attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And it's very possible, and I know this is going to be very hard for you to hear, you might be slightly antisocial. So because you have something that's a personality disorder, I highly recommend that you take, hold on, I just need to go check my manual. I just need to go check my manual. You should take. Yes. So Seroquel would be good, but I think in your case, we're going to put you on risperidone. So we're going to start you on risperidone. We will be titrating you up. That means we're going to I know you don't understand what titrate means. Sorry, I apologize. So we're going to gradually increase the dose of your medication over 3 days. And meanwhile, 3 days, by the way, is an incredibly short and torturous period of time to fucking jack up the drugs on someone. So yes, we're going to just titrate you up. And when we achieve therapeutic dose, the therapeutic dose of the drug is 2 milligrams. And we know that's going to fix your behavioral disorder that you've clearly manifested, that I can see. And the intern that's with me, that my resident can support me on this. We've just seen the way that you've addressed Davison. You have this paranoid delusion about simps. So, start on the Adderall, start on the risperidone, and we anticipate that within 2 months you won't have these problems anymore. Just make sure that you continue to take the medication, or we will take you to court. This is improv. Do you realize I'm doing improv right now, guys? People that just dropped into the stream are like, we don't even understand what the fuck is going on. Steppy said, I have ADHD. Oh, no, I'm sorry. And scene. I'm funny. That I was not funny for months. I was very not a funny lady because my brain wasn't working. I lost my brain, so I lost my sense of humor. I lost my ability to enjoy the foods I used to enjoy. I lost my sense of smell, by the way, which is also a symptom of COVID. I lost my sense of humor. I never thought, there was a point, guys, and I'm not even kidding you, that I thought I would never laugh again. Okay, I'm sorry, but the psychiatrist has to leave now. Say bye. Say bye to, what am I? I dare not call me Dr. Davison, because if I were to be a fucking I would be a medical doctor, not a fucking psychiatrist. So I'm Dr. Vader. Dr. Vader. Dr. Vader. I like dab on the purse. I can tell how old you are. Hi, dab on the purse. I can clearly tell based on the evidence that you've presented to me that you are between the ages of 14 and 18. You're likely 15. Is Dr. Vader right? How old are you? I think I'm about 18. See, I told you, Dr. Vader is also always right. So please take your medication. And if you don't, again, we will be taking you to court. I have to see another patient. By the way, psychiatrists only spend like 20 minutes with their patients and then assume they know everything about their personality, suffering, and medical conditions. My head hurts, Max. Sorry, guys, I just need to change my shirt, okay? My head is hurting. My head is killing. Am I okay? I don't feel like I'm okay right now. I know. Sorry, guys, I don't feel okay because my head keeps stabbing because we forget that I'm still really ill. It's stabbing right here right now. And I'm feeling a little anxious because when that happens, it makes me feel more anxious. I'm not setting up anything. I don't set this up. This is all very real. I wish that I was faking this. I'm not. And I'm really hot. Hold on. Anybody who knows me, okay, Thomas knows me, Efrain knows me, Steppy knows me. I should read what Steppy wrote, can corroborate that I'm a very real and honest person. I am almost honest and accurate to a fault. Ouch. I would never in a million years choose this way to present myself online, and nor choose to do this to myself. And you're doing the bias that everybody has against people with functional neurologic disorder, which is that we can control it, that we're acting, that it's intentional, that we're crazy. No, it's that our brains, and they still haven't fully studied, they still don't know the full causes of this yet. They say that in some people like me, it's a viral infection. In other people's, it's a brain infection. In other people, it is emotional trauma. So part of my care, they were right at certain points about the diagnosis, but wrong about the cause, and being wrong about the cause led them to be wrong about the treatment and led them to also not be educated. And a lot of nurses thinking that I was somatizing and acting up, thinking that if they were to just be firm with me, that would make it go away. And they would just ignore me having seizures on the floor instead of rushing over and patting me and telling me it was going to be okay. They were torturing me. They were torturing me. And this is very real. Maybe you were making a joke. No, but I'm not, darling Dab. I mean, this is very real. I wish it wasn't real. But it's real. So how old am I? It doesn't matter how old do I look. I mean, I look older than I used to. I used to look quite young. And I don't like my hair like this. It looks too severe. I was about to get I was literally, when my brain got infected back in January, it's also before the whole world fell apart with COVID, let's be perfectly honest. I had an appointment at the salon, I was going to get a beautiful haircut because I was unhappy with the way my hair was. And so right now it's, yes, I wanted to say throughout all of this, I really developed a different relationship with my body, and with my appearance, because when you have a life-threatening illness and a mind-threatening illness, the last thing you're thinking about is how pretty you are. But now, actually, one of the signs of my recovery is that I'm like, ew, like, what is my hair like even? Ouch, ouch. Oh, and yeah, proof that I don't make any of this stuff. Like, what's this? Look at how bad my IV placement was. It's really hard in the vein, and they really massacred me. That's not at the psych ward. This is actually at a medical hospital. But the medical hospital didn't understand what I was going through, thought I deserved to be in the psych ward. But the neurologists understood finally. So I'm not going to give you my age, darling. So I'm an MS patient for 35 years, and my little experiences with medication, well, so far, drugs can be really nasty sometimes. That's right. I'm really sensitive to all of them. I'm sorry. I give you a hug. And I'm sending you lots of love. So I know about people not getting what's going on if you have brain-related mental problems. There you go, because it's kind of invisible. It's an invisible illness with these. And I think there's a film called Invisible People about mental health. I think. Sorry, I have to take notes. I have to start writing my book. I have to, because there's chapters. It's it's like, it's like I could go month to month in the book. So it's okay. So, and I know people not getting what's going on with you if you have brain-related mental problems. Hi, Steppy, by the way, because it's kind of invisible with these kind of diseases, what's going on inside of times. I really hope you stay well. We'll drop some lines at some point later, but I got to go get out of here. Bye. Bye. Love to you. Will you mention us in the book? Yes, I will. Yes. I promise that in my dedications, I will dedicate it to my fans and the people that supported me. And I'll try to mention you by name. If I forget your names, I thoroughly apologize. It's hard for me sometimes to keep track of everyone, which is a blessing. Can you imagine if like 2,000 people were in here right now, how hard it would be? But my streams have always been more intimate. So, oh, happy birthday, Thomas. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Thomas. Happy birthday to you. Okay, so Steppy said, I have ADHD and suspected to be on the autistic spectrum. They put me on tons of different pills, all resulted in side effects that are way worse than the stuff I suffer without them. I'm sorry, Steppy. I love you, Steppy. No, the book will not be self-published. I should try to get a publisher because I have the story of a lifetime. Who gets a brain infection, gets misdiagnosed, gets thrown in the psych ward? But I went there voluntarily, by the way, though, because the first time after I got fucked up after it wasn't even the trazodone that got me admitted. It was 3 drugs later. So they put me on a lot of different medication. But I was there because I didn't know what was wrong with myself either, and I trusted them. I trusted that they would take care of me. I trusted that they would run the scans. I thought I was stupid. I thought in the psych ward they had medical doctors because it was in a hospital. Surely in a hospital they send the medical doctors. Oh, no. Oh, no, they don't. I am no longer trusting of psychiatry whatsoever. Oh, doctor. Did you hear that, guys? Wait. I think I just got mail. Max, do you have an envelope? Dr. Vader's taking me to court. No. Okay, I'm getting anxious. Of course it's a joke. It was a joke. Why does nobody get my sense of humor? There's no Dr. Vader. She doesn't exist. I'm Dr. Vader. Did anybody get my joke? Am I alone? Hello? Is this on? So Steffi said, no, nobody's taking me to court. No, I'm not a danger to myself. I'm not a danger to others. And now I have a neurologist who can very, very strongly state that this has all been one grand misunderstanding that I have just happened to casually suffer through. But I was not all there mentally. My personality was gone. I had profound anxiety. I think they were well-intentioned at certain points, but they denied me the tests that I needed. So they are partially to blame, but they were trying to help. But the system is all fucked up, and so are the drugs. Does that make sense? Wow, I've been going for a long time. I sometimes worry but I've always been very energetic when I live stream. And this is therapy for me, occupational therapy. So, yeah, by the way, as I explained before, my seizures and my spasms are worse in the morning. They get better throughout the day. So better is at the height. It could be a reverse parabola, but we're just going to do it this way. So they get better throughout the day. I have a period where I don't have any abnormal activity whatsoever. And then at night they get worse again. And I really don't like the way I sleep. Though last night I did sleep 8 hours or 7 hours, which is a miracle because I haven't been able to sleep through the night, and I'm not even shitting you. There was one night actually where they super drugged me. I was able to sleep, being, medically induced coma. Yeah, it's the first time I've been able to sleep through the night since January in 8 months. So when your brain's inflamed, it doesn't like to sleep. It gets a little bit irritable. It's like, no, let's stay up and have a party and make you suffer. So hello to the 15 people who are here. My name is Davison. You might want to rewatch this broadcast because it's been very complex. I became Dr. Vader to illustrate psychiatry's problems. I got dressed up in a costume. Now I'm back. I had more voluntary movements at the outset of this broadcast. And now I've been, as this is the pattern of what's going wrong with me, I'm now better. It does make the stream better if you have good energy, but I can't always have good energy because I'm sick. I think you guys do realize how sick I am. I'm getting better. I'm fighting it. I'm a very strong person at my core and in my brain, in multiple regions of my brain. By the way, when my brain was screwed up to try to stop me from losing, I thought I had dementia at a certain point because I forgot my multiplication tables. I would forget. I had short-term memory problems. My perception of time was all fucked up. And then the psychiatrist dare say that these are my symptoms, that I wasn't really experiencing them, that I was somatizing my anxiety, and I was overly obsessed with my medical condition. Are you fucking kidding me? My brain wasn't working right. I won't call you that word because it's not very nice. Yeah, your brain doesn't like to sleep when you have FND sometimes, functional neurologic disorder or brain inflammation, because it can't shut off. It's not, the signals are not being conducted correctly. So I'm now going to leave this to a Q&A. Please ask me questions. I have talked enough. I started the psych ward story and how I got in there. I can't, it's a very long story. As I said, this is months and months of my life. So suffice to say, I had a bad reaction to medication a second time, which then led to me being admitted. And I got admitted voluntarily. I agreed to it because I thought that they would then figure out what was wrong with my brain and help my anxiety, when in reality, they then slapped me with a diagnosis, which made my medical diagnosis even harder to get. I was never crazy. I was sick. But it did scramble my brain a little bit. But I was right. I was right all along, and I kept telling them, I'm telling you the truth. And I probably have been told 100 times, we don't believe you. And I was right. Caffeine helps. I hated coffee for months, by the way. And I also thought, because remember, this started with the viral infection in January that made me have horrible over hyperactive bowel at night. By the way, IBS is actually a form of functional neurologic disorder, and a lot of people with functional neurologic disorders have IBS. So I quit coffee thinking it would help me. And also I quit coffee because, as I told you, because my brain was infected and inflamed, I got cut off from my personality. So things I loved like coffee, I avoided. But anyhow, I'm now back to drinking coffee because my personality is back. Davison is not dead anymore. I told several nurses that, by the way, too, I had a month long where they were trying to take care of me at home, and they sent nurses to me at home. That's how crazy all of this has been. And I said to them, I'm like, I used to be funny, outgoing, charismatic, have lots of energy. I ran multiple YouTube channels, a Patreon. I was doing, in a way, doing too much. But again, never say anything negative to a psychiatrist because they will use that information against you. Sometimes in the court of law. Yeah. So I wasn't drinking coffee, but coffee will actually help if I have a cerebral spinal fluid leak in my brain that can be managed conservatively. Then caffeine will actually help close the hole. So caffeine doesn't help. It'll help the CSF leak I have probably, but in terms of like my involuntary movements and stuff, it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily help that much. And if anything, too, like I have to get back used to drinking coffee because when you don't drink it for so long, it hits you like a ton of bricks. I also, too, am always keenly aware of when people are misunderstanding me or laughing at me. I'm somehow thinking of a conference right now wherein I overheard guys saying, she's not as smart as she thinks she is. I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I am. And I said nothing because they laughed me off because they thought just like everyone always thinks I'm crazy on YouTube because I do outrageous things when really it's intentional. There's a reason for it. It's because you can't behave normally or in an average way or have average energy and entertain people. You have to be exceptional in some way. So I was exceptionally weird or experimental on my main channel and sexy. All these things are threatening to people and frequently misunderstood. So guys, questions. The neurologist likened me to Einstein and Shakespeare. I was like, no, please don't go that far. I'm not a genius. I'm very much not a genius, and you're very good for my ego. But no. Sorry, now I'm getting anxious. Hello to the 17 people who are here. I've been streaming for a while. We're now on almost hour 2 of the stream. You can rewatch the stream. I've been talking about having a functional neurologic disorder, which makes me do involuntary movements sometimes, and I can trigger it even. Makes my speech get garbled, and I also have a leak in my sinuses. My brain is leaking brain fluid into my sinuses. So I got a virus that attacked my brain in January, and I've been recovering ever since, and this stream is part of my therapy. Because I have to get back to doing normal things. And I have to train my brain to do this. Like, for a while, I was only half a brain. I was only intellectual, but yet not intellectual. I still had memory problems. I still was forgetting things. But now my personality, boom, it came back. So I have to make my brain do this and calm down and become a normal brain again. And this kind of looks like a brain, doesn't it? And I've never seen so many images of brains as I have in 2020. I never liked looking at brains. And what's kind of eerie is that there's something called the Montreal Neurological Institute, which I'm now working with in Montreal. And I used to, this is chills. I used to always drive by there and think, well, if there's anywhere in the world that I'd like, I would rather have something bad happen to me neurologically, it would be Montreal, because we have the neuro and they're like world class, brain doctors. And now I'm at the neuro. I also stopped being and feeling intuitive when I was, when half my personality got cut off, but now I'm intuitive again. Now I have doctors at the neuro. Wow. I knew, it's like I sensed So, because there's a part of life that is metaphysical, I believe. And I mean, or okay, then we could go, then we're going far too like eccentric, crazy. This is a simulation and all of this time has already occurred, or maybe, in the physics sense, time is a massive loop. So whatever's happened has already happened, will always, and it's, so when you're intuitive, you kind of are aware of the loop. I don't know. Never mind. Get it? Yeah, I might have to change people's names. I will protect the, it's like Q Law and Order theme, protecting the identities of the innocent. I wish I could play that. It'll get copy struck. Dun, 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 dun. So what do they say in Law and Order? Some names have been changed to protect the names of the innocent. Law and Order, names of the innocent. What is it? What does he say? Some names have been changed. I have to not get too overstimulated. I feel a little bit overstimulated right now. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. I can't find it. You're right. I can call someone Dr. Vader, and I know exactly who I'm calling Dr. Vader, but that's not very nice to her. Ooh, oh God. She deserves it. Do you want me to read to you some of the reviews of the psych doc that I had that was maybe she is well-intentioned, but she is cruel. There's something sadistic about her, I sense, but I don't want to say that because I don't want to dehumanize her, because maybe I'm not understanding her and she's just I don't want to play her game, because she profoundly misunderstood me and she didn't believe me, which is such a travesty and a miscarriage of justice. But let me read to you her Rate MD reviews. No, Dr. Vader. Because I have to set up the Imperial March is what plays when psychiatrists come in. That's their theme song. But some of them are nice. Like I met a very nice one the other day at the hospital I was at. She was very sweet. And the intern, or not the intern, the resident who treated me, he meant well. And at one point when I was having seizures, he said, "It really hurts me to see you like this." And that was nice of him. But he was following the instructions of the other doctor who had told him to not help me when I was having seizures. So, also my left ear drains brain fluid too. Or no, sorry. Yeah, well, right now it is, but it's mainly my right ear, but sometimes my left ear comes blocks, it blocks and it unblocks. I wish you could hear, I could feel the fluid right now in my ear. So, okay, hold on. So her Rate MDs. So doctor, you guys will laugh. Oh my God, she is a 1.8 rating out of 5 on ratemds.com. This is the one this is Dr. Vader. So we're going to read to you Dr. Vader's reviews. So first one is, Dr. Vader is a pharmaceutical tyrant. She decides a treatment usually after very little review of the patient's history and forces it upon them. She will lie, deny what she promises, deny voluntary patient's discharge, and manipulate patients into treatment compliance. She refuses to admit fault. and got my diagnosis and medication wrong. She's an authoritarian, shut up and take your pills doctor. Sorry. Oh. I shouldn't laugh. Oh, I'm a little bit dizzy. Hold on. That's the first rating for her on Rate My So the next rating of her from another person, whatever. This was written by Dr. Vader. Extremely thorough and compassionate and tried to get to the root of the issue. No, I shouldn't be too mean to her. Now here's the next one. Wait, so here's more negative reviews. Dr. Vader's only interest is her own physical appearance. It clearly consumes her in every way. She lacks total interest in her medical practice, and most importantly, her patients. She is fake and arrogant and displays utter detachment when treating patients. She is a disgrace to the Jewish General Hospital's psychiatric department. It is a horrible experience with her. The next one is, I know Dr. Vader from high school, and she used to make fun of people. She needs a psychiatrist to treat herself. Dr. Vader should never have been allowed to practice psychiatry. Rated 1. She is rude and inconsiderate and treats patients with no respect whatsoever. She's more obsessed with her self-image than anything else. Her insecurities are clear and visible, and she projects them by behaving with entitlement and arrogance amongst her peers and patients. Oh my God, who wrote this? Who wrote this? This sounds like someone who worked with her. In my opinion, no one should ever experience such a negative medical service from a practitioner. Stay away from her. Do I need to keep reading the reviews of Dr. Vader? You're right, Bradley. They will be good for the book. But I don't want to paint her as an abject villain like Darth Vader. Even if I need to be fair. I want to be like Jesus and be kind to the people that I'm saying this with laughter in my voice, but truly, be kind to the people who've been very unkind to me, who have been like, I don't want to be unfair, even if they sometimes deserve it. Maybe it'll make her change her approach. Maybe she's unaware of how horribly she treats people. And clearly, in my case, I hope it profoundly affects her that she got it wrong. And I think she had said, "Oh, I'm not too," because I tried to bring it up to her, like, Dr. Ben, and I don't think you're right. She's like, I'm not too arrogant or too, I don't know what the word she used to admit when I'm wrong, but you should do this. You should do this. Go on the treatment. I was like, but the treatment is making me feel like shit. It is not working. And if the drugs were what I needed, then why am I still moving involuntarily? Why am I babbling with my speech? Why is my movement disorder getting worse? Why am I getting worse if the drugs work? And then they'll try to tell you it's the wrong drugs. No, it's because you misdiagnosed me. I had a medical condition and a neurological condition, and you just wouldn't listen to me, Dr. Vader. Listen to your patients. I was telling the truth. I know some of them are delusional, but I was not one of them. Look at the history. Maybe instead of taking 20 minutes, as the person said, taking 20 minutes with your patients, take 2 hours. Let me show you my YouTube channel. Let me get my friends in here and be like, she was normal before January, and then she got sicker and sicker with a physical illness, and you need to realize that the cause of this might not be what you think it is, and you're mistreating her. And maybe you need to stop over-medicating people, Dr. Vader. You're giving a very small woman a heroic dose of medication. You seem to enjoy. In fact, there's like delight in her eyes when she would be like, I'm going to raise your dose. And maybe there's also an issue, though, that I don't know about. If the hospital will only keep people if their dosages are being increased. So it is in her best interest, and maybe she thinks in my best interest, to keep raising the dose so that I'm there longer so that I can recover more. But I never recovered. I didn't recover till I went off the fucking medication and I got a proper diagnosis. It's complicated. That's why I don't want to vilify her, even if some of her behavior is involuntarily villainous. Did I say her name? Oh God. Sorry. This is my opinion. It's just my opinion. And I read to you the other people's opinions. And I'm trying very hard to be fair and extend her grace. But she should read her ratings on Rate My MD. And she would know that if 15 people say the same thing about you, sometimes people are misunderstood. I am the example of someone that is frequently misunderstood, so I get it. But maybe they have a point. Sometimes the village is wrong. The nurses were telling me I could stop seizing. I couldn't because this other doctor was like Dr. Teddy Bear. We'll call him Dr. Teddy Bear because he kind of looks like a teddy bear. Dr. Teddy Bear tells them the best way to make Davison better is to just deny attention to her spasms. But it made them not, and the nurses didn't get it. So some of them were so cruel to me as a result. And I just needed a hug. And I needed a pillow, and I needed them to be like, oh my God, we got to do more medical investigations. There's something clearly wrong with her medically. We know her. She's telling the truth. And to like, I couldn't believe that they wouldn't believe me. It's so awful not being believed when you're sick. So terrible. I try to be a good person. And if there's a misconception that in the past I've been misunderstood, like, oh, she just loves herself so much. She's a bad person. She's such a slut. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not a slut. In fact, I hadn't had sex in 4 years, and I do Patreon because I have political beliefs about it, and I'm artistic, and I like men, and I like having a male audience, and I think I'm very friendly to my male audience that I have, and what does slut mean? That's very misogynistic, and even if I was a slut, you shouldn't call me one. But back to Bannon, or back to Vader, back to Flower, Dr. Flower. She maybe needs to listen to what's been written about her, because I think it would make her a better psychiatrist. And then people wouldn't have to suffer as much as I did. So the main problem I found with medicine is that the idea that they cross this, well, okay. I'm having a bit of involuntary bindingen. My involuntary movement's coming back a little bit again, so my gindingen. I did pretty good. I went like 2 hours without a gindingen. The main problem I found with medicine is that the idea that they are cross-discipline is not recognized. The truth is doctors are forced to specialize, and that leads to narrow thinking. Yes, and also I will tell you what else happened to me too. I have experienced something similar where they concentrate on a single symptom, exactly, and not look for links between symptoms, exactly. And not only that, there's a saying in medicine that is, when you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras, which means that if you see certain symptoms, don't presume the worst case scenario, presume a simple cause that is easily treatable. What was Davison for the last 8 months? I'm a motherfucking zebra, bitch. Okay? I'm a fucking zebra. So they were ill prepared, and based even on their medical training, as Vera Tenuta said, to deal with my complex case. Complex cases take a long time to figure out. And it's frequently, unfortunately, the patient suffers. And in the ER department, they will really suffer because ER is not set up for complex cases. They're set up for acute cases. I can't believe my brain came back. You know how insane it is, too, that I was like, well, you've seen it this morning. I was retarded when I wasn't retarded. That's not nice to say. But I'm not saying retarded in like the pejorative way. Like, and I literally was mentally like not retarded, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Delayed, like mentally challenged, disordered. This morning when I was having my seizures, it makes my brain go, and then it comes back. So Vera Tenuta said, "Hi, Raiku, Wall Street. I love you. You're on my wall. I thought of you guys so much." I just didn't. I didn't think I was ever going to be able to talk to you guys ever again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Of course you're still on my wall. You're right there. And I wrote on the wall, I added something new. I wrote, and this is pretty intense. I wrote, I almost didn't make it, but I did. August the 14th, 2020. That was the day I was diagnosed with the right diagnosis. Thank you, Bradley. Here, I could turn you around, but I don't want to fall over. Like you guys here. No, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea for me to turn you guys around right now. And I would be backlit if I sit that way. Oh, my face is going again. So, hi, Broken Raiku. We're doing some therapy right now. This is a stream I think worth watching in playback. So, peace and love. I had skin rashes, you see dermatologist. Or if you have skin rashes, you see a dermatologist. If you have swollen joints, you see a rheumatologist. If you have kidney pains, you see, yes, there's no centralization. That's what my best friend Jonathan was noting in all of this. The problem is in medicine, it's siloed when it requires really complex centralization. But sometimes when they centralize information, they still get it wrong. There's a Quebec medical records system called OAXIS, and even with OAXIS, it's whack. Even with OAXIS, they got shit wrong with me. And I have to get my medication corrected because I'm not taking it anymore. I'm tapering off the olanzapine. And olanzapine does help you sleep, but it makes you have fucked up dreams. And it makes you, at least me, 2.5 milligrams of olanzapine and below, I get false memories when I get half asleep and I think that my dreams are reality before I wake up. It's kind of it's like a parasomnia. It's not a good condition to be in. I'd much rather have normal sleep where when you wake up, you're groggy, but you're there. But olanzapine makes you like confused, like profoundly. That bitch, she fucking confused. She a little bit messed up. And Vershanuda said, exactly. The improbable is not the impossible. And if only you could monitor a person's metabolism 24/7, you can get a full picture. Exactly. Maybe in the future this is what the neurologist was saying Friday. He's brilliant. I really liked him. And I'm still working with him. Very smart guy. I could have hugged him. I will not hug him, but I could have hugged him. Maybe he's going to have but he admitted that he might have limitations. That's why he's so great. He's like, I don't always get it right. I'm like, thank you. Finally, a doctor who's smart enough to say that they don't always get it right, because it takes a great deal of intelligence to admit that you don't always get the full picture right away. And I jumped to conclusions. I thought I had rabies. Then I thought I had a parasitic brain infection. Then I thought I had a prion disease because I was going based on my symptoms and I couldn't find anything that fit. And only once on that Friday, the 14th, that we put all the data together, did it all make sense. And he believed me. More importantly, he believe your patients. And psych doctors, please don't assume everyone's paranoid or delusional. Believe your patient. And even if they are, still believe them. They might even be right 80% of the time, which is pretty good. Just don't listen to the 20% when they're talking to Big Bird. You're supposed to laugh. That was sort of funny. So maybe in the future we're smart. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm having a in there. Just a minute. Exactly. Garlic gives me weird dreams. Garlic gives some people nightmares. I'm one of those people. Oh no, I feel really weird. Hold on. Max, I feel really weird. Max,
What?
I feel really weird right now.
Okay.
I feel really weird. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Eric, Max,
What?
can you help me? I'm feeling really weird. I'm feeling really weird. Okay, just a minute. You got pants on, right? Yes.
Yes, of course I have pants on.
I just didn't have me and
Do I end the stream?
yeah, sorry guys. No, not like that. Ding it. I gotta go. No, they haven't done a CSF test yet, and it's also possible they haven't figured out the cause of all of this, and I still need more treatment. But I do have a functional neurologic disorder, so I gotta go, guys. I love you. Goodbye. Okay, I'm sorry. I felt like I was